So since my last few videos, I've continued to tweak my system a bit, and I wanted to give you guys an update on a couple of the details, talk about some of the pieces of hardware I've been playing around with on Linux, and talk about just a few other updates in general about the channel. We're going to hop on my computer, and I'm just going to do a screen capture. I'm not going to be on screen at all, and then I'll wrap it up at the end. So as you guys know, I've been using Linux Mint as my distribution of choice for this channel, and I want to talk a little bit about what I like about it so far and kind of the reasoning on why I am fine tweaking some things and am also fine with not being able to tweak and configure other things. In the Linux world, tiling window managers are huge, and I totally get the reasons why, but for me it's not a must at this point. I may try them at some point, but I want to embrace the cool look of some of these distributions, some of these desktop environments, and so on. So that's what I'm doing with this Linux Mint and some of the tweaking that I've done so far to it. Now, the general idea for me is that I don't need this to look like Mac OS X exactly. I have tweaked some things and I have changed some things to give me certain similarities to make me feel comfortable in certain aspects, but I'm not going to mimic Mac OS exactly. That being said, I'll show you just a couple things that I have tweaked so far. So one of the big noticeable things, well, you may not notice it, but for me it's noticeable, is I've put a different theme on my Cinnamon desktop. The theme I downloaded is Orchidia, and then I tweaked the colors of the icons and application windows and buttons to this mint white purple, and then chose this as my mouse pointer. So really this Orchidia theme is doing the heavy lifting, and then my color choice just complements it well. For the most part, that's like one of the big things I've done. The other thing I did was I'm utilizing two panels. One panel at the top, which kind of mimics the menu bar and status bar on macOS, the way I have it set up. And then I have one panel at the bottom. And then I have extensions running, only two extensions. I have one Gtile extension to give me some tile-like features when I need them. And then I have a extension that turns the panels transparent, which is what you're seeing now, which kind of gives me that Mac OS feel. Now, a lot of people have recommended I check out Plank to give me like a Mac OS style dock, and I might still check that out. But right now, just putting the panel at the bottom, placing the icons in the center, and making it transparent with this theme gives me somewhat of a dock style feel. Now it still has the classic Mint Cinnamon menu here, which is very Windows-like, but I don't mind that at all. So this is a little bit of the best of all situations, where it's a little bit like a dock, a little bit like a Windows menu, but still has a Linux Mint features. Now, one of the coolest things I've been excited about is my ROFI configuration. So I'm sure many of you have seen ROFI or used ROFI. So the way I have ROFI set up right now is I actually have it set up to respond to a couple key bindings at the operating system level, at the window manager level. I have a key binding to bring up ROFI in derun mode, which it is in now, and then I have it set to a window mode, so I can pull up the window mode specifically with a key binding, or I can pull up the derun option with a key binding. So much like I did in Mac OS with Alfred, I can use ROFI in a very similar way. The thing with ROFI is that it doesn't come out of the box exactly like this. I downloaded I think it was the Dracula theme, and tweaked it a decent amount to get this to where the look I wanted. And right now I'm not 100% happy with it. I'm going to tweak it a little bit more, but I tweaked a few things to give me this vibe and appearance. And then again, I added some key bindings to be able to bring it up when I need it, either in drun or in the window manager mode. That alone, the ROFI app and the ROFI configuration, the way I have it set up with those key bindings and this look and feel, gives me an Alfred type vibe. Spotlight too, but I was using Alfred more lately than Spotlight on my MacBook Air and iMac as well. So this kind of replaces that, so to speak, on my Linux system. Those are just some of the things that I've done so far. I haven't done massive racing, and I don't really need to. I mean, there's only so much you can do on Linux Mint Cinnamon, but what I have so far is probably good enough for quite a while. And then if I'm itching to try something new, either I'll change themes, I'll tweak a few things and go from there. But right now, I'm fine with this. I do a lot of things with GUI apps and the GUI file manager and whatnot. I love the terminal, don't get me wrong, but I'm fine using my mouse along with my keyboard. Okay, in the middle of this video, I want to talk about some ways to support the channel, because I set up a Patreon, which I'm very excited about. So I want to show you some of this stuff. So now there's a Patreon for this page for Linux Creative Project. Right now I only have one tier, but I will add more soon. Basically, the tier right now will get exclusive content, behind the scenes content, stuff I don't upload, stuff I don't make public on YouTube, and stuff like that, and live streams. I don't know when I'm going to start live streams, but I am planning on starting those. And the behind the scenes content is going to be stuff that's maybe a little longer, that maybe that won't do so well on the YouTube main channel, and maybe some stuff that's, as I'm planning, testing things out, troubleshooting, so maybe a little more nitty gritty type stuff will go on the Patreon. I'll still figuring out all the details, but if you become a member, you're gonna get access to all that stuff. And then I will add tiers as we go along and try to make some good incentives for those tiers. But yes, join the Patreon. I invite you to do so. It'd be awesome to have you guys there. The other way I want to show you guys to support another way to support the channel is to support my photography, to support my artwork. And right now my main print shop is through Darkroom, and I will have a link in the description below. But you can go to Darkroom and order either prints on paper, framed prints, prints on metal, canvas prints, all kinds of prints of my work. And I'm having a sale of 25% off until the end of June 2024. If by some chance you see this video outside that, just contact me if I don't have a sale going, and I'll get you a discount code. So yeah, join the Patreon, check out my photography print shop, and support the page in any way you are willing to do so, even if it's likes and views and subscriptions on my YouTube channel. All right, so the next thing that I want to talk about is a few hardware related things. So I mentioned that I was getting a new monitor a few videos ago, and I think maybe I talked about it once I got it, because I think I had it when I recorded the last video. The monitor I got is a ProArt display from Asus. I didn't get one of the 4K, one of the top end high end ones, but it's still ProArt. It still has all the color accuracy and all the color related good features of the higher end ones. It just doesn't have the resolution, which I'm fine with. I actually wanted something that was of modest resolution to give my graphics card just a little bit of a break when I don't always need that high pixel density. Someday I will get the 4K monitors again and dive into that. But right now, this monitor is fantastic. 27 inches is an awesome size. And since the resolution is 2560 by 1440, the actual interface looks similar to the way my iMac did. Similar size. Now, obviously, it's not like a Retina, as they call the iMac display, but it's still high quality. And I love the color accuracy and all these things, especially working on photos and videos and whatnot. So that's my monitor. That's hooked up to that little Camera PC that I showed you guys a while back. And for my keyboard and mouse, it's nothing special. It's Logitech mouse and keyboard. It's the MX Keys Mini and then the MX Master 2S for the mouse. They work pretty good. I don't necessarily like recommend them for Linux users if you want complete compatibility. Like they're, like I said, for me, that they work pretty good overall. They're the driver and software isn't designed for Linux, so you can't customize them in the same way that you can on Windows or Mac. But I have been using those, and so far so good. I do keep a wired keyboard and wired mouse around just in case I have wireless issues. I can plug those in directly and troubleshoot. All right, moving on. So I am recording this audio through a microphone that's plugged into a Universal Audio Volt 2 audio interface. Now, I bought this a while back for my Mac systems, and I don't do a ton of music on it. I play guitar through it every once in a while. So guitar is like the main instrument I play that's not MIDI, and obviously I'll record audio through it. On my Mac, I was using Logic Pro and Universal Audio Luna, and those are pretty cool apps. I love both of them. I was really getting into Luna, and I hope that they offer a Linux version one day. That would be super cool. But either way, I plugged this Volt 2 into my Linux system, and it's pretty much has been plug and play. Because the important things are on some of the important things are on the hardware for me. Phantom power, the gain knob, the vintage preamp sound, all those are on the hardware, so those don't need any sort of software compatible drivers or whatnot. And I love the way this sounds. The mic preamps are awesome, and the like I said, the compatibility's been exactly perfect. I just plug it in, play, it's recognized it, and I haven't had really any issues with that. Now, for when I have been playing around with some music and starting to toy around with recording some sounds and music for my channel, this is the keyboard I've been using, the MIDI keyboard. I got this when I was mainly using Mac OS, and I was using this with all the software that's packaged with the Native Instruments stuff, which is, they have a lot of cool stuff when you buy these keyboards, but most of those are Mac and PC. So I am giving up a lot of benefits that I received when I bought this originally. But that being said, it does work, and it does work pretty well with my my music setup. And I'll talk a little bit about the music software in a few minutes. But I can say in general, this one works good. There is probably more Linux compatible MIDI keyboards out there, but I just wanted to give my impression that, this is so far so good for me. I don't have to go out and buy a new one. I can just use the one I already had, and it's working good. And I'll probably just ride this one out for a while, especially if I can figure out how to configure some of these MIDI controller knobs to some of the software I'm using. That would be awesome. I'm confident there's probably a way to do that. Last but not least, on a hardware update is storage. Some of you asked about storage, and right now I have a temporary solution. So on my Mac system, I had a few external hard drives. One of them being a old school G technology. I say old school, like around 8 years old or 7 years old or something. USB 3 drive. It's just a single disc. This one I do have an older RAID, but this one's just a single disc USB 3 G-Tech drive. It's like a few terabytes, and I had it obviously formatted for Mac on my Mac. It held my photo library and a few other things. Over the weekend, I backed up a whole bunch of stuff, transferred some stuff, and cleared this out so I could reformat it to work on this Linux system natively, read and write. I did a lot of research, and I decided to format this one as NTFS. I debated that. There are other format choices, but I'm trying NTFS right now, and we'll see how that goes. I do like that my Mac can read it. It can't write to it, but that's okay. It can at least read it and pull files from it. So I'm trying NTFS format on there. It's plugged in directly through USB, and so far it's working fine. I don't need it to be super fast. Eventually I will get a faster hard drive or SSD, but for now this is a good temporary solution and gives me a decent amount of space to dump photos to and to pull from, because right now I'm building a few photo projects that I need to cull through thousands of my old photos. So I need those stored with easy access, and that's what this drive is going to allow me to do. Okay, a couple cool software updates since we really last talked about this. One of the most important ones is what I'm using for audio right now. We talked about this a while back, and I was toying around with some things, and I know there are some good, I know Ardor and Reaper are fantastic, and I still want to get to know those. But I found this app called Waveform. They have a free version and a paid version. Right now, I'm trying the free version, but I did pay for a couple of the additional add-ons, and some of those were just gave me a couple extra software instruments and things like that. And I can't remember what else I did, but overall, it's been really cool. Now it's not going to show me my audio device because right now my audio device is being taken up by the screen recorder app, but I can show you at least what the app looks like, and I can show you like some of the plugins that come with it that they make. They make this synth app here. Let's see, they have a few others. I think this one, let's see, let me show you some free synths that I've installed on here to use with this app. So there's this the synth called Surge XT. You guys may have heard of it if you have played around with a lot of audio. I've tried this on a few different apps, so I'm still kind of learning all the different options on it and all the cool presets. But my whole point with this is that this Waveform app has been really easy for me to learn. It acts very similar to the stuff I've tried before. It's a little bit of Pro Tools mixed with a little bit of Luna and Logic Pro. So I was able to get up and running really quickly with it, and everything that I need to do with it, it does, because I'm relatively basic when it comes to what I'm asking my DAW to do. So this does more than enough. This is the last thing I want to show you here, is that I found this guitar amp simulator that works well with Linux, and so it's super cool. And so when I have been recording a little bit of guitar, I've been using this for my amp simulator. Now I know there's a way to get VST plugins from Windows and Mac to work on Linux, and I will play around with that. But right now, I've just been downloading plugins that already work with Linux, already tested with Linux, and those are some of the ones I have been playing with. Okay, so that was audio. Let's move on to video editing. And I don't think anything's changed since last time. My video editing apps are Lightworks and Kdenlive. For me, a lot of this for me was out of curiosity. You know, someone who's been a professional editor for a long time but never used Lightworks in a professional setting, but has heard about it. I've always wanted to kick the tires on it, and this was a perfect opportunity for me to do that. So I'm actually using the Lightworks Pro because I got it in April, like on a really good sale. They're always running sales. Like right now they're running a sale. So check it out. But like Kdenlive probably does all what you need to do. This would be something like maybe you want to try this to learn to use it on a gig, or because another company you work with may have it or whatever. There's a lot of different reasons to try it, but it's been really fun for me so far, and I enjoy it. And one of the coolest things about it, obviously, needless to say, this is one of the reasons why I'm talking about it, is Linux is listed as supported, and Linux Mint specifically is listed as supported. So it works great. It works really well in the system, actually. And I'm still learning it as well. I'm also learning Kdenlive as well, still. And they just released a new version, 24.05. And some of the changes on that update seem really cool. I haven't even really tried those out too much yet. But right now, these are the two editors I'm spending the most time in. And I know there are a handful of others. I have a list I'm trying out from the stuff you guys suggested, from the stuff I've already I've already known about. And I'm going to do a dedicated video on video editors on Linux soon. But I just wanted to give you guys an update on the two apps that I'm spending the most time in, trying to learn, trying to get stuff done in. It's these two. One of the challenges for me is like not only am I pretty much a newbie still to Linux, but I'm also a newbie to these two apps. So I'm learning new operating system, I'm learning new video editing systems, so it's a lot of new to tackle, and usually it's not a good idea to do, but it's fun and it's a challenge, and I enjoy it. So there was a lot of rambling there, but those are some of the updates I wanted to talk to you guys about. I know this video is probably super long, but these are going to happen sometimes. The last thing I want to talk about in general is, actually I want to save that subject. I was going to talk about troubleshooting Linux problems and talk about some of the issues I have, but I'm going to save that. I'm either going to save it for Patreon or I'll do a separate video on that. So those are some of the updates for the channel. I'd welcome any support you guys can offer, whether it's even just liking, subscribing, sharing, any of that helps. And I invite you guys to join the Patreon. Let's grow that community. I'll do some exclusive content there, as I've been saying. And you can also check out my photography print shop online as another option to support the channel and get some cool wall art while you're at it. So thanks again as always, guys. I appreciate your support so far. All the comments have been great. I've been reading every single one, taking notes about all your app suggestions and Linux suggestions in general. So please subscribe if you haven't yet, and I can't wait to see what's next.